my beautiful co-creators. Lilu here on the beautiful island of Big Island, actually, the biggest island of the Hawaiian Islands. And today I'm with Gen Morita's wife. I don't know if you remember this amazing interview. Well, today I'm with Yumi, that is really this international environmentalist activist since 1990. You've been traveling the world and really passionately serving Mother Earth and fighting.
Fighting, yes. Some people call me warrior. So I just came back from Japan. You know what happened in Japan in March 11th.
Yes.
And it's really radioactive and contaminated. And we started a campaign, Gen and I, and friends of ours in Okinawa started a campaign called Connecting Light, Tsunagu Hikari, which is trying to evacuate mothers, children, and mostly pregnant women from a contaminated area of Fukushima to Okinawa. Okinawa is the only place that we don't have nuclear power, and also we don't have much earthquake. So that's at the moment it's the safest place. So we've been trying to get those pregnant women and children, and we got about 87 by now. But you know, there are 2 million people in Fukushima. And I know about 300,000 children. They are very weak to radiation. And the level of radiation is already beyond Chernobyl. If you know the accident in Chernobyl in 1986. So we really need to hurry to, move them to safer place. But what our government does, you said I'm fighting against our government again on this case, because they raise the standard higher so that it's livable there. It's illegal now. With the law before, it's illegal to live there because the level of radiation is so high. But what they did is to raise the level so that they can legally stay there, and kids are now exposed to radiation every day, 24 hours, and I'm really, really concerned about the health of those children and pregnant women.
So what is the actual situation right now? How much is the government or the media in Japan? What are they saying, and what's not being said, and what's truly... What have you learned through all your research? I know on your blog you keep on posting a lot of information there.
Yes, the most of the information is coming from citizens, like people like us, and independent researchers and NGOs, putting more accurate the information into the internet. But mainstream media and the government basically says it's safe. It's safe, because they raised the standard, so it's safe for them now, They changed the law. But actually what they're supposed to do is to evacuate those people to safer area and clean up as much as they could, and if the level goes down, they can come back. But if not, we have to find them new home. That's something government would do, and even the Soviet Union did that. You see, remember that? They tried to hide at the beginning, but soon after, I think in a day or two, Sweden and other neighboring countries found out the high-level radiation, and they found out something happened, So, but our government, to me, it's worse than Soviet Union. What they are doing is just keep raising the standard higher for the air, for the water, for the milk, and for food, and for fish. Everything is higher now, so we can eat contaminated food legally, and it's spreading all over Japan now. With this the soil, they are using the contaminated contaminated soil to mix to make a fertilizer, and they're selling it in the garden stores. So they, instead of creating safer place for people, they are making it they are making everybody exposed to radiation all over Japan. So to me, this is like death. We are really going towards death. Instead of they are promoting life and health of the people, they are really promoting death and disease. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So how do you feel about being Japanese right now? This is...
I think I'm really sad and ashamed of my government and electric companies, and also nuclear industry in general, that has put on actually nuclear industry came from outside, like United States and France and England, to us later after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we should have rejected it, you know. We suffered enough of radiation already. We don't want any nuclear, even if it's for peaceful use. And now we are learning there's no such peaceful use of nuclear power. Nuclear power create radiation, radioactive garbage, radioactive materials, and spent fuel that we don't know how to dispose of. And nobody knows. Nobody on this planet. We have no place to put those garbage safely. And now they are talking about to put some of the garbage to Mongolia. You know, in the midst of all of these, they are talking about exporting the spent fuel and high-level waste to Mongolia. And what about the people and babies of Mongolia? You know, those people are crazy.
Yeah, what about the people?
Yeah, what about the people? So there's no such space. We've learned enough from Chernobyl and we've learned from Fukushima. And this is time for all the humanity to wake up the truth. We cannot depend on nuclear or fossil fuel either. We have to find another way of living harmoniously with the nature, with the Mother Earth. So, you know, I just want to
tell us some more about that. Yeah, because I know you love gardening and you love eating your own.
I love cooking. I love cooking, and also I love eating good food, good, healthy, tasty food. And the best way is to grow your own vegetable. So this is American beautiful lawn. You're not supposed to plant here, but you look at what we did. We took all the lawn and we are planting all the vegetables here. And this
even
is,
on Big Island, on the lava.
Yeah, on the lava. This is daikon and this is tomato I just picked up, and we have all the garden and we are eating from the garden.
Yeah.
And it's true, we are radioactive here too. Radiation is reaching Hawaii, reaching California, reaching Canada, and East Coast and Europe and Middle East, and it came back to Japan, and it's all around twice or three times already. It's diluted, of course. It's less. It's not like Japan, much less, but it's coming here.
So these type of foods are even more so important than before, eating organic, eating even with the radiation. I mean, how are the plants affected by it themselves?
Of course, it's very important we avoid any kind of carcinogen. You see, all those radiation cause cancer, leukemia, you know that. But it lowers our immune power, you know, to be able to survive and to stay healthy. So it's more important to eat healthy more than before. So I know this island has some radiation, and we have detected milk is like 400 times or 2,000 times higher than before. It's still lower than the U.S. standard, so it's better than Japan. But you know, you should not take any radiation if you can avoid. So what I'm trying to promote here is eat as organically as possible, as locally as possible, and live a simple life like our ancestors did.
Yeah.
You know, we survived on this planet for so many years without destroying nature until recently, until maybe 200 years ago, or even in Japan, maybe until 50 years ago. We just lived, grow everything in the garden and eat locally. I mean, eat from the garden.
Is there some other things that you recommend with those time of radiation and those changing times right now in the world? A lot of things are changing. Is there other advice you have?
Well, you need to clean the house very thoroughly. You need, you know, the radiation comes with dust and soil. And I'm sure there's some radiation here. So you need to wash it well and clean the house. I try to clean, you know, every day with wet towel, just to wipe the floors and everything. And you do that more often than before. And I use effective microorganisms. It's EM. I don't know if you have it in France, but we have it in United States, and of course it's come from Japan. It's a biological. It's small. What you call that? It's effective microorganisms. It's they are small creature that can create how do I say, clean our waste into better things. They are in the soil too. And I use EM for all the cleaning and washing clothes and things like that. And also I spray that in their house, and they are effective. And they Japanese NGOs have used them in Chernobyl, in the soil and in the neighborhood, and they had very good result, much less disease, and we don't know how to explain it scientifically, but we have some data that people live better with EM. And so I would say you eat more fermented food, all the cultures, maybe you can eat yogurt if you're European, but again, milk has higher contamination radiation, more likely. So,
is there other food that absorb more that radiation than others?
The higher in the food chain, the more contamination of chemical and radiation. So I would avoid eating lots of meat and the big fish. I would avoid that, and I would eat mostly vegetables and grains. And I just eat lots of raw, fresh vegetables like this, And this one also, I just chop up and make tsukemono pickles with it. And I try to eat it as raw as possible without using fire, without cooking. So that's what I'm teaching this week. I'm starting a 1-week retreat with Japanese people who are coming to learn how to heal yourself, how to eat, raw food from the garden.
Yes.
So I'm just using everything here. These are the food you will be eating for 1 week.
I guess part of this process is also reclaiming our own power and our potential and our God-given gift and the light, that we're born into. Is there other, affirmations or even stones or things that we can say to ourselves or what have you that we can start to re-empower also that and protect ourselves? Is there such a way?
I always say, be the change, I fight. You said you're a fighter, but I fight sometimes with a big corporation in the government because it's necessary. But I'd rather be a change myself. I want to be the change I want to see in the world. So I'm growing my own food. I'm being my own doctor. I'm raising children in a way, differently from other people. For me, it's very important for them to know how to grow food, how to cook, and that's how to maybe build a house, things you need to live to survive. That's the skills I'd like my children to learn, how to swim, how to run fast, and things like that. So my education is very different from ordinary mothers who want them to go to good school, good university. I don't have that. So be the change you wish to see. That's my mantra, and I want to be peace. I want to be a media myself. So I'm so glad that you are interviewing me because I want myself to be a media myself, being a messenger to the world that change is possible and we can be the change we want to see.
Yes. So you're writing a book?
I've written maybe...
Another one?
Yes, I'm constantly writing, and I'm writing another one, yes.
What is the topic this time?
It's beyond this kind of living, but more in a community, communal living or sustainable living. But I like Japan to use this opportunity. Well, this is a tragedy, but this can be opportunity if people of Hiroshima, Nagasaki survivor, Japanese had survived atomic bombs, and now we have this Fukushima radiation, and if we can really change Japan and the world away from nuclear, we can be really a gift to the world. Now we are kind of nightmare to the world, but if we can use this opportunity to turn things around and we live more sustainably, we live with the planet, we live from the soil, from the energy we have here. There's massive energy, and we don't need to dig everything from Mother Earth. We can stop that. And that's kind of the society I want. So I want to be the change myself with more people like me.
And if you say one word about Central America and how you feel, have you seen some results from all your fights in Central America?
Central America? Yeah. In Belize?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard that you've done quite some work there.
In Central America. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was involved with a tropical rainforest sanctuary.
Yes.
It's called Monkey Bay Wildlife Sanctuary. That was 1990. I met this wonderful conservationist from United States and the local village people who wanted to save the land of tropical rainforest that was going to be chopped down by mostly like Coca-Cola and thanks and its foreign companies coming to Belize because it's so cheap, and they are cutting and planting orange plantations and also creating luxury condominiums for rich people. Yeah. That was I guess it's similar everywhere in the third world. A beautiful, untouched nature. That's destiny they're going. Yeah. So that's something happened in 1980s and 1990s, and I met these wonderful people, and I said, okay, I'm gonna be help.
Yeah.
And I was doing fundraising for them. So I became director of Monkey Bay Wildlife Sanctuary, and we created a sanctuary of about 3,250 acres in Belize. And it's now, since 1990, and it's 2011, it's still intact, beautiful,
Right.
and lots of nature.
Yes.
And we planted lots of local trees that were lost. So you could do that.
And you made it happen, and you're the proof that changes are happen.
Changes happened, and also it was a small way. When I started fundraising, I didn't know how to do it, so I started selling my own things from my own wardrobe and my own books and things I don't need. That was my start, and I raised about $3,000 that way. And then a friend of mine said, oh, I could do the same, and it kind of catched on and spread, and I raised so much money by doing that, and many people liked it because they become clean house, much cleaner house and less things, and then helps the planet. So it became popular, and that's how we raise most of the money for Monkey Bay.
And now you want to raise money for Japan?
Yes, I really want to raise money for pregnant women and children in Fukushima and affected people by the radiation. So Connecting Light is trying to raise money to move those women from Fukushima to Okinawa. That's about $500 just one way. So we need a lot of money. So I'm trying to spread this.
Bring it on. We need your support.
Any place. And
Yes.
Actually, United States, a friend of mine, Yumi Oda, the foundation Inochi is supporting us. So if you put money into Inochi Foundation, it's a tax deductible, tax exempt. So you could do that, and we could use money for pregnant women and children in Fukushima. So.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for all your beautiful work. Thank you, Yumi, for being a warrior of the light.
I really don't want to fight. I want to be really friends with everyone.
Yes.
All I want is, everyone to survive and happily and live a healthy life.
Yeah, but you're inspiring, and by being inspiring and positive, then we encourage others to do that. So I think that's really, thank you. It's a blessing to have you on the planet right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to be that way, and thank you for saying that.
Thank you. Well, much love, my beautiful co-creators from the Big Island. Time to eat raw.
Time to eat raw, yeah.
Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Lilu here on the beautiful island of Big Island, actually, the biggest island of the Hawaiian Islands. And today I'm with Gen Morita's wife. I don't know if you remember this amazing interview. Well, today I'm with Yumi, that is really this international environmentalist activist since...
You know, with the law before, it's illegal to live there because the level of radiation is so high. But what they did is to raise the level so that they can legally stay there. And kids are now exposed to radiation every day, 24 hours. And I'm really, really concerned about the health of those children and pregnant women.
So what is the actual situation right now? How much is the government or the media in Japan? What are they saying and what's not being said and what's truly... 1990, you've been traveling the world and really passionately serving Mother Earth and fighting.
Fighting, yes. Some people call me warrior. So I just came back from Japan. You know what happened in Japan in March 11th.
Yes.
And it's really radioactive and contaminated. And we started a campaign, Gen and I, and friends of ours in Okinawa started a campaign called Connecting Light, Tsunagu Hikari, which is trying to evacuate mothers, children, and mostly pregnant women from a contaminated area of Fukushima to Okinawa. Okinawa is the only place that we don't have nuclear power, and also we don't have much earthquake. So that's at the moment it's the safest place. So we've been trying to get those pregnant women and children, and we got about 87 by now. But you know, there are 2 million people in Fukushima, and I know about 300,000 children. They are very weak to radiation. And the level of radiation is already beyond Chernobyl. If you know the accident in Chernobyl in 1986. So we really need to hurry to, move them to safer place. But what our government does, you said I'm fighting against our government again on this case because they raise the standard higher so that it's livable there. It's legal now.